Page 47 on the deep C. On page 46, they're talking about having the right hand reading bass clef. I don't really consider this any big deal. I don't know that I'd give a lesson on it. We've already had a situation before where the lower staff had treble clef. And since the left hand has been playing in the lower staff for the most part, then the left hand was playing treble clef. Here it's just the other way around. Now we have the upper staff having bass clef, and the right hand is going to do those. All right. Let's look at Deep Blue C over. It's 1 page long. We have bass clefs in both staffs. See, this is the reason I always check. What are the clef signs? Because they could be at most anything. Well, they're usually a treble and bass clef in some order. But you have to watch out because here they're both bass clefs. We have no sharps or flats in this key signature. We're in the key of C major. Make sure you do the C major scale. I have the video. You know what to do. Okay. 4/4 time signature. Let's just check our notes and things because we're moving around a bit. The right hand, you're starting down here on A, down here. Now, because you're down in this part, the tendency is to want to move over. Don't. Stay centered in the middle of the piano, and you simply twist your body, twist it, and you reach as you need to. Don't lean, because that throws your balance off. So try and stay upright as best you can, and just twist when you do this. So it's here. Now at the end of the first line, you're here, and then you have an E and a G here. So it's 1, 2, 3. You have to lift up. It's way up here. And then going on, you got to come back down here. So you are moving around a little bit. Now in the second line, in the 4th measure where the half notes are, you're here again, here. But this time I recommend you use 1 and 2. This way you're in position to go on because now you're getting treble clef here. So now the next note is here. You're in this position. So here, use 1 and 2. And if it will help you, then use 1 and 2 in the first line. You can go here to here. If that'll help, that's fine. Then in the second line, last measure, your treble clef. Thumb here, just crunch up. Reach up. Stay here now because they want 3rd finger. I can't reach that. So I'm going to do a 1, 3. Again, they're repeated notes. I can change. So it's a 1, 3. And on the 3rd measure with the half notes, I suggest you do a 2, 5 if you can. Change hand positions here. This way I'm closer to where I want to be here. Okay, so then when I go on, I'm on the 3rd line down, 3rd measure, here to here, and then going on, the bass clef comes back. I'm going to use thumb on the first one, and then cross over here, because it's easier than going from here to here. I mean, you can get away with it, but I want to connect the notes if I can. So I'm going to use the thumb, and then 4, and I'm in position. This helps me move around a little more easily. Last line, 2nd measure, again, the half notes. If you want to do that, that's fine, 1 and 2. But then in the next notes, you got to come back down to C again, because you're still in bass clef. So which fingers you use to play the E, G is entirely up to you. Just 2. And then in the 3rd measure, you get the treble clef in the middle of the measures. Remember I said they could change clef signs anytime they want, as often as they need. So now you're up here, E, G up here. And then bass clef again. And the 2nd C there, the next to the last measure, the 2nd C needs to be with little finger because you got to come down here for the last one. You can play the 1st C with any finger you want, but the 2nd one needs to be little finger and then here. Left hand. Well, the left hand at the beginning has the same notes as the right hand. They're just an octave lower. But then when you get to the end of the line on the half notes, you're coming up all the way up to here. You're moving. And then you're coming back down. I'll fix that in a minute. Just go on for now. second line, it's the last two measures. Yeah, half notes again, here to here. And then the last measure of the third or second line, go ahead and use a 5-2 here, not a 5-1. This way you're in position for the next measure, which is just bring the thumb up. So you're in this position here for a little bit. Because in the third line, second measure, it's going to be 5-2 again. And then here, and then I do a 4-1 for the, because I'm here. You can do a 5-1 if you want, but I'm in this position, I just do it. The thumb comes down. And then you lift up and come back down. Last line, I get second measure, you're here. And then back down here, and then you get treble clef in the bottom step, you come all the way up here. And then bass clef again. And the last two measures at the bottom, that second half note needs to be with thumb, because you're going to go down to here. Another C. If you have a short keyboard and you don't have these notes, you just play the lowest Cs you have. That's close enough. So then we try putting the hands together and fix a couple of things. This is where when I'm trying to figure out fingerings, I have to be careful because sometimes I have to change the fingerings. When I add the articulation, sometimes I have to change the fingerings. When I put the hands together, I have to change the fingerings. When I add the speed, sometimes I have to change the fingerings for that. But at least I have a start, and that's what we're after. We just have to be flexible for a bit. So the hands are together, and they're playing the same notes, different fingers. But then at the end of the first line, you're here to here. Both hands are moving. I don't really want to do that because I don't like moving any more than I have to, especially both hands. So I'm going to cheat. Not really cheating, but it's the way of doing it. And that is, in the last measure here, I'm going to play that C with the right hand because it's just a C chord. There's no reason why the left hand has to play that note. So this way the left hand can stay here. I'm only moving the right hand. So that last measure, the first line is here, and then here. The left hand just rests. And then the right hand comes back, well, the left hand's right here. I'm only moving one hand. Same thing in the second line. Fourth measure. Now, you can move the left hand up because it needs to be here. But if you'll play that chord all with the right hand, you don't have to move the hands at the same time. You're moving one hand while the chord's playing, then you move the other hand. So I'm here in that measure. That's the second line, the last two measures. The half notes, you're here. I'm moving the right hand first, and then I'm getting the left hand up where I want it to go because I got to move the right hand again. So it's here to here. Now I'm ready to go. Now I got to move the left hand down here, but the right hand's just going to reach down. And then I'm going to move. So again, I'm kind of moving one hand at a time. So the third line down, third measure, I'm here. And now the right hand's right there. That's the note. I just got to get the left hand down. So on the last line, on the half notes, again, I can do that with right hand only. I don't have to use I can leave the left hand right there. Leave the right hand, just play that with the right hand, leave the left hand right where it is. It makes it a little easier in my opinion because now I'm just moving the one hand. The other hand, leave. If you want to move both hands, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's kind of showy if you want to try that. I just find it unnecessary. Now, once I have the hands and the fingering worked out, then I go back through it however many times it takes, and get rid of the hesitations. Work on those hard parts. Don't always just go through the whole thing. Find the hard parts where you're hesitating, where you're having problems, and work out the hesitations. Now, you got to look down at the keyboard when you're moving around like this, but you should only have to look down for a little bit, just long enough to move, and then you can look back at the music. So get rid of the hesitations. Then we'll think about the articulation. We have slurs and accents. Here at the beginning you have, not in the left hand, just play. Now what I'm going to do on these accents, there's a way to interpret accents, is I'm going to separate each note because it helps to kind of bring out the accent when you have note after note accented, but the left hand doesn't have accent. So I'm going to try connecting that. Yeah. I think their intention here, even though both hands are playing the same note, the melody is actually in the right hand. The left hand is playing harmony. It just happens to be the same note name. It's still harmony. So the right hand has the melody. The left hand, keep it, I'm going to connect the left hand here. And that's the way I'm going to do it. They lift up between the phrases there. In the second and third measure, or in the second measure of the first line. Lift up. You got to change to a 3 anyway. Now in the second line, last measure, clearly the right hand is melody. You're going to connect this. Connect the left hand as best you can. Lift up. Lift. Like taking a breath. Lift up. And then you back down here. Now, they put a slur over this. What's going on? I'm in the third line down, the last 2 measures. They have the accents again, but now they've slurred them. Now they want you to connect them. Well, with accent, all that means is you're just going to play them louder on piano. That's all we can do. So just play them louder. See, the other one, the accents go away. So those first ones, they're going to be louder than the rest of it because of the accents. And once I have an idea of the articulation, then I think about the dynamics. Basically, this is a kind of a loud piece. It's loud at the beginning, forte, F, that's the melody, which is the right hand here. And those accented notes are going to be very loud, just for those. But these, keep in the background, keep the left hand in the background. Here, still loud. The last measure, the second line, you come down a little bit to mezzo forte. Sort of loud, medium loud, just to here. Left hand is soft. Lift up. Now back to loud. With accent makes those notes, the first 3 notes very loud in the right hand. And then the last 3 measures, fortissimo, FF, very loud. Right hand, here. Here and then here. Yeah, very loud. Be careful when you're down here going loud. It gets loud by itself. So you may have to bring it down to where it feels like you're just playing loud and the very loud comes out because you're down here. You have to adjust how loud or how much weight you're using on the keys depending on where you are on the keyboard, because the low part of the keyboard gets loud by itself and the upper part gets soft by itself. So we have to adjust our playing to accommodate that. Now the speed is maestoso, is just majestic. Whatever you think majestic, think majestic. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know, somewhere in there. It's a range. What do you feel like? Now they've added pedal. And first we have to understand what's going on with the pedal. Well, sometimes in looking at it, I'm not sure what they're after. So I have to experiment. I have to try the pedal out. What effect does it have? See, again, this is another reason why we learn a piece without pedal first. So we can hear it without pedal. So when we add the pedal, we can hear the difference. Well, they're using pedal at the end of the first line. This helps connect the notes. And it's going to color the longer notes, the half notes. Remember, in piano, when we have longer notes, we can pedal them sometimes, not always, sometimes, because it gives them color. The overtones give a little more interesting. So in the last measure of the first line, I'll push the notes down first and then the pedal. I'm going to lift the pedal up with the hand, so there's a little silence, so we hear the phrasing. The second line, same thing, and then next to the last measure, notes first, then the pedal. And now I'm going to lift it up for the phrasing, so we get a little silence, and then the notes first, then the pedal. I'm going to legato pedal these two measures. It's the last measure, the second line, and the next one. I'm going to legato pedal that because it's all one phrase. So it's here. Then lift up. And again, for the third line on the second, third measures, I'm going to legato pedal those. Here, I'm going to connect all of that together, and then I can lift up. Okay. Now, I don't like this. That's too much. It gets blurry. I know we're underwater and we're doing that, but the first part isn't this. This isn't blurry or nothing. So on the second line, last measure, I got to take out some of the blurriness. Well, that means I need to change the pedal. So I think I'm going to change the pedal on beat 3. So it's first 2 beats in one pedal, and then the second 2. So it's here and change. It's after you play the note. It cleans it out a little bit. Same thing on the third line. And then lift up. Now in the last line, the second measure here, I don't know why they're not pedaling this. This doesn't make any sense to me. So I pedaled it all before, just the same thing. So I'm going to pedal it here too. And the last line, second, I'm going to pedal that. Lift up, here, and lift up. And in the last 2 measures, I'm going to legato pedal those. I want the overtones. We are very loud here. I want lots of sound. So I'm going to pedal these. Just hold it down. Hold the pedal down for the last 2 measures. I don't know why they're not pedaling the last line. In my opinion, they should be pedaling those half notes and the whole notes. It's just one way of playing it. Don't copy me, please. You get into it. You feel this music. You make it yours. If there's anybody sleeping around, you might not want to get too loud. Just hold it down a little bit. Let's play this together very slowly and check all the notes and the rhythms. I'm going to pedal it like I suggested. I'll give us 4 counts. Now, I'm not going to do any dynamics. I'm going to play everything about the same. I need you to hear all the notes. So let's try it slowly. 1, 2, ready, go.